It's Tim Joyce again. So far we've talked about operational factors and organizational factors and how those are an important part of an evaluation of modern infrastructure that you can run your workloads on. So why did we separate those two areas from the financial? I'll tell you why. Most times when a vendor comes to you and says, hey, we're going to show you how to do a TCO or an ROI, they rarely understand what those terms mean. In fact, maybe you don't quite understand what those terms mean, but you can count on one thing, and that is that the whatever it is that they come back as a financial analysis is going to tell you that you've got to buy a lot of their products. So that has gotten to a point where most people don't believe the financial part of it. So when we looked at it, we said, all right, well, that is part of it, but there's other parts to it. And so we came up with that list of operational and organizational. So how do you compare those? So here's what we've come up with, and it's very simple. We've got an Excel spreadsheet form, for example, and it's got all of the factors down the left side. Then across the top of this are all the different opportunities, or rather all the different infrastructures you could run your workloads in. And let's summarize what those are. You can run them on-prem in 3-tier. You can run them on-prem using hyperconvergence, which is much more modern. You can run them in the public cloud, or you can run them in a SaaS environment. And then the fifth, of course, is some combination of one or two or all of those. And that's kind of what most people have. But for purposes of the evaluation, what you want to do is don't assign dollar values to any of those factors. What you're doing is you're assigning relative, you're trying to rank the different opportunities relatively so that you can go down each factor, and at the bottom of those that set of factors, say operational, you'll be able to add up what the score was of these factors. So we rate them 1 to 5, with 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. And then for each of those infrastructure platforms, you come up with a number. Then you go down to the organizational factors and you do the exact same thing. And you come up with a set of numbers based on what are the infrastructure platforms you could use. The reason we do this is because not all of the infrastructure options are going to work for you, regardless of the price. For example, your company might say, we're never going to put certain workloads into the public cloud. Well, then what you would do is you'd score those lower than you might for 3-tier on-prem or HCI on-prem. The idea is to give you an objective view into what your workloads need, what your existing environment or your desired environment should look like, and allow you to compare the different options. Okay, so I know I'm not showing you the spreadsheet. We will later, but that's how you do it. The final part is you determine which of those 5 options make sense for you, and then you do a financial analysis of just those, because the other ones don't work for you. So why would you even compare? Why would you do financials on an option that's not valid for your environment? So that's how you do the evaluation. Our next video will talk to you about how you do a proper financial analysis. And so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.